Welcome to Wayne County Connection. I'm your host, Michael Sweigart. Thank you for joining me again as we promote Wayne County as a great place to work, live, and play. And I want to thank you, our viewers, for connecting with our guests over the years and doing your part to make Wayne County a great place to work, live, and play. As always, you can start by visiting our website at waynet.org/cc, where you can learn more information about today's guests and the programs and institution that they represent, and also find out information about our past guests and their agencies as well. Also, from our website, you can connect to previous shows and the on-demand and streaming portion of this program that we get through grants and other means that we promote the program on various social media and online sources. I wanted you to check out waynet.org/cc, where you can learn more information about that. Also, while you're on WayNet, check out the calendar there, where you can learn more information about what's going on in the community and where you can post your own events and get connected with others that are interested in the same things that you are, or maybe new things that you didn't know were going on, that are making Wayne County a great place to work, live, and play. Listen, we say that a lot on this program, and we're always focusing on the connections and getting you connected with our guests and their agencies and getting connected with each other, because we believe that building on our strengths and building on our community is the best way that we can move forward into a brighter future for all of us here in the communities in Wayne County. And speaking of a brighter future, we are excited today to be focusing on our first episode in our Champions of Youth series. For the next few episodes, we're going to be focusing on agencies and individuals that are working with youth in our communities and moving them to prepare them for leadership in the next generation. And today we are starting with Boy Scouts of America. And we have several representatives from the local areas representing all facets of Boy Scouting. And folks, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks.
Thank you.
And today we have Everett Young, who is the division manager for the Eastern area of Crossroads Council. We have Jim Boksa, who is the district director, for Bear Creek District, and Tara Darice, who is the senior exploring executive for Scouting in Crossroads Council. Again, welcome to the show, and we're going to start again because I've just announced you, and they're looking at all these faces and wanting to put some names with some faces, and I'm going to start with Everett. Again, district manager, and I invite you to tell us a little bit about yourself and your involvement with Scouting and Wayne County in particular.
Well, I'm happy to be here. I grew up in this area in Fayette County, and I got my Eagle Scout in 1989. That was a long time for anybody that might do the math. And I'm very thankful to be able to have been blessed to be able to work here in the service area that I grew up in. And, in particular, I started working professionally for the Crossroads of America Council back in 2014, and just been trying to be proactive in our communities, with the Wayne County Chamber of Commerce, being on the Business Education Committee. And, we've done our best to participate in the Wayne County Back to School Bash and, to help, provide school supplies for all of the kids. And now, just been blessed. I'm covering the Eastern section now, and which is just a larger service area. But I'm just very thankful to be able to be here and be able to bring the scouting program to the youth of our communities, because they need our program. So that's what I got, Michael.
That sounds great. We'll be back with you to figure out more about and learn more about the Scouting organization in general, and then we'll drill down a little bit with our other guests. Jim Boksa, the district director for Bear Creek District, welcome. And you have a great and interesting story, but I'm going to ask you to really introduce yourself to almost everybody.
Yeah, it's really well because I'm new to the area. As you said, my name is Jim Boxa. I'm the district director for the Bear Creek District, which covers an area from, I kind of consider it a triangle, from Shelbyville to Richmond down to Brooksville area, the 6 counties in that area. I am responsible I'm kind of the guy on the ground, promoting scouting in the community, both in membership and finding volunteer support. I am an Eagle Scout. Grew up in the scouting program. Worked summer camp staff for many years. I came here from where I was the program director in Pensacola, Florida Council. I've been here about 2 months, and I'm looking forward to working with the people in Wayne County to promote and increase scouting in the area.
And I have a little inside information because, full disclosure, I am a volunteer with Scouting and a Scout dad myself, and so I'm really excited about promoting this. Jim is kind of taking over a position that Everett had previously, so those of you in our area that are familiar with seeing Everett will now be seeing Jim on a more regular basis as Everett has moved up. Now we're going to come to Darice, Senior Exploring Executive, and I'm really glad to have you on the show. We do have some exploring posts here in Wayne County, but ask you to tell a little bit about yourself and your involvement with Scouting and Wayne County in particular.
Yes, thank you so much, Michael. Unlike the other two on the call, I have no childhood experience of Scouting, but I think my history kind of makes me even more passionate about what I'm currently doing. I grew up and am still in Hendricks County, but started in college for a nonprofit management degree. And with that started a part-time position with the council headquartered out of Indianapolis on the east side. And with that, I started in the Scout Reach program, which is mostly youth within Marion County. And then when I graduated college, moved on to exploring. And like a lot of the stories within exploring, I have had a different mindset for careers that I wanted. And then came across nonprofit management and really kind of dove into it. And that's what I'm currently doing. And being able to provide opportunities for youth to learn about careers at a younger age instead of having an experience like mine and a lot of people where we don't find out until we're in the job or we're in college already for a different career than we end up being in. So that's kind of a little background about me, and I'm really excited to be here today.
And I'm excited to ask you more about exploring programs in Wayne County a little bit later in the program. I'm going to go back to Everett now. And Everett, I want to ask you to give us kind of an overview of Scouting. I know most of our viewers, when they think of Boy Scouting, are going to think of either Cub Scouts or Boy Scouting, which now we call Scouts BSA after the transition that was made a couple of years ago, and ask you to tell us about all that's involved in Boy Scouts of America programming here in Wayne County. I know we've had a lot of different areas, and some people may not have ever heard of exploring before, even though there's a lot of reason for them to. So Everett, if you could, please just give us a bigger picture of Crossroads and Scouting here in Wayne County and Boy Scouting in general.
Yeah, so there is a lot that we offer, and people typically don't, know about them. When you hear the Boy Scouts of America, typically you envision, the camping and the tents, and but there's so much more to that. All of our programs are co-ed, and they're open to young men and women, and they're also we have Cub Scouting, and we have Scouts BSA now. And that's the program where young men and young women now, they can earn the Eagle Scout. And we're super proud to be able to offer that to the youth of Wayne County. And then, as you know as well, we've had several STEM labs that you've actually helped us to get up and running. And we're so thankful, for all the volunteer efforts and with our exploring posts. The exploring post, I'll let Tara, go into the weeds about that, but it's a career exploration program, and it gives young people the opportunity to be able to dive in and try something out. And, it's a safe place to fail. It's a safe place to find out. It's like, oh, there's better ways to do this. And this is where we kind of, as the adults, the volunteers and the mentors, be able to help them and guide them and coach them and to encourage them, so that when they get out into the real world, they have some confidence and they have some strength that they've built as they've been growing up in our programs. And it proves out typically, and I'll wrap up with this, but when employers are looking for, accreditations on a resume or something, if there's Scouting on there, whether you're a volunteer or if you have the coveted Eagle Scout on there, it speaks volumes when an employer sees that.
And Everett, before we transition from you, can you give us an idea of how many people are served by Scouting in the Wayne County area?
Right now in Wayne County, we're serving about 125 youth, and with over we have more than 25 volunteers in all the units that are serving. And some of those folks, they serve on at the unit level, of course, with being a Cub master, down in the weeds with the kids, and Scout masters. We have a great crew, but we also have a strong presence on our district committee, folks that are from Wayne County. Your district chair, matter of fact, and your district commissioner are both from Wayne County. Matt Fisher is the district chair, and Bob Hanson is also the district commissioner. And both of those folks are Wayne County, and they're just super folks and volunteers. And that's just the two lead folks. We have a whole lot.
And you've mentioned a couple of programs. You mentioned Cub Scouting and Exploring and Scouts BSA. What are the range of youth that are eligible to participate in scouting programs?
So for the Cub Scout program, their eligibility starts at kindergarten, and those are the Lions, and then it runs up and through 4th and 5th grade is the Webelos and the Arrow of Light programs. And usually in that 5th grade range, we start to transition them where they have other opportunities for into Scouts BSA. They can transition to a troop and go up that path. And then as we also have venturing crews. I didn't mention venturing crews, but we have those as well. All those programs are co-ed. So Scouts BSA runs up until they're 18, venturing and exploring runs until they're 20. And so it's just plenty of opportunities for them to be able to grow all through their youth experiences.
All right. And again, as you mentioned earlier, all the programs are co-ed now. And so boys and girls or young men and young women can participate in any of those programs for which they have age eligibility. And I know Jim and Tara would be excited to answer any questions you have about that if you can't find a local leader or local unit to get connected to. Again, now transitioning, I just mentioned Jim, and I'm going to come to you now, Jim, and ask you if you could tell us a little bit more about the programs that are going on in Wayne County, Bear Creek District, and how the programs then promote not only youth development, but also the community connection. Again, I got some full disclosure with my participation in scouting, and I have some inside information about what our unit does, but I don't know the full picture as it affects Wayne County. So Jim, can you tell us what you've learned about scouting's impact for youth and the community here in Wayne County and Bear Creek District?
Well, the scouting movement, scouting is a game with a purpose. Lord Baden-Powell, who started scouting over 100 years ago, said that's probably the best quote he came up with. What we're trying to do is instill in our youth the 12 points of the Scout Law. It's trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent. Just imagine the world, how much better the world would be if everybody followed those 12 words. And we do that through all levels of scouting, from the kindergartners, which are called Line Scouts, all the way through the venturing program, and in exploring too as well. We try to instill those values. Every age level has some type of service requirement, service to the community requirement of some size. It could be making Christmas card for the younger scouts, doing Christmas cards, or visiting a senior center, all the way up to once they earn the Eagle Scout project, they have to do a service project that benefits the community. I know some of the projects going on right now is there's a playground, a sensory, trying to think of the right word for it, a playground that develops sensory for the children, that has apparatuses where the kids have to touch and feel and hear and see different parts of the playground. We also have several traditional type projects I know going on where they're renovating a classroom or a library at one of the schools in town, working on some of the public park areas in the area. So And like I said, every rank, every age has to do something like that. So I don't know what else you want me. You got any other?
Well, that's
You know,
pretty good. I was kind of waiting for you. I was thinking through my experiences and the service projects. One of the units that I'm involved with, Troop 16 out of Centerville, just was approached for an interview and some information for a local news publication. I don't know when that's coming out, but we were asked to kind of give an overview of our involvement in the community over the last couple of years. And that unit alone came up with over 3,000 hours of community service that had been given over the last couple of 3 years, when you include all the scouts and adult volunteers in flag projects for the cemeteries, with the Veterans Memorial and the service park in Richmond, with helping with the libraries and museums and cleanup projects and so forth. And it really adds up. And I know even the younger scouts, the Cub Scouts, get involved with the celebrations, participation in the parades, and promoting community involvement and community spirit, and just that connection with each other to build each other up. And Jim, I was really excited when you started to talk about the 12 points of the Scout Law. That, as you mentioned, what person do you know that you don't want to be trustworthy, loyal, helpful, courteous, considerate, kind? All of those attributes that we look at in scouting, none. I agree with you completely. It would make the world such a much better place if everybody was that way. It would just be unbelievable. So if your child is not involved in scouting now, I'm going to make an appeal. Get connected. Get involved. You'll have so much fun. And we talk about the service project and the Scout Law. It's all about fun, right? I mean, we do some great activities that are really interesting, that are age appropriate for everyone from a kindergartner all the way through, a young adult. Is there anything in particular that, Jim, you would think of coming up in the next few months that young people or their parents might be interested in getting their young people involved with in scouting?
We do have one event for let the community know. We're talking about it. Is we have our Scouting for Food drive coming up at the end of April. Weekends of April 23rd, Saturday 23rd and 30th, where the scouts will be covering their communities, putting Kroger sacks on the front doors on the 23rd with a sticker saying, "Hey, please donate food." And they'll come and leave it out on your front porch on Saturday the 30th, and then they'll come by on the 30th and pick them up, and all that food will stay in their communities. The food banks in the different towns, or it could be going to one of the local church food pantries, but all the food will stay in Wayne County. So we got that coming up. We're also we're going to be doing some recruiting this spring in the schools, especially elementary school level. So you'll be seeing flyers coming home for opportunity for the kids to join scouting, to do some of our summertime programs. We're a year-round program. Summertime's our big time. That's when we can actually get out and do the camping and everything, what people think of traditionally in scouting. So that'll be coming out here in the next month or so.
Yeah, so a couple of big opportunities, especially for younger people, to get connected. But moving now into more of the older scouts, and Tara, I want to ask you about exploring. Wayne County residents may be familiar with exploring in a very small area with our the exploring post that was at the Sheriff's Department, and a former sheriff promoted exploring during his tenure. But tell us a little bit more about exploring and how that addresses, as you mentioned earlier, the career exploration or the self-discovery for youth, and how scouting helps guide that exploration.
Yeah, of course. Thank you. I think Jim kind of hit the nail a little bit with the Scout Law and all those tenets that it offers. Exploring also tries to do those as well. Exploring is an affiliate of the Boy Scouts of America wholly, but locally, Exploring is a workforce development program for youth ages 10 to 20. where they get an opportunity to work hands-on with professionals in the field. So for example, at Eli Lilly, we have a program with the IT, with their IT department. And what that would look like is they'd have opportunities to actually do computing, coding, working through software kind of development and different things like that, kind of seeing what a career like that could be in. And my biggest thing is that youth can then either decide that's what they want to do, or they can decide that's not what they want to do. And that's totally okay. And it's a valid opportunity for them to do that. And we have multiple other programs that they can engage in. In Wayne County, we have the Sheriff's Department that you mentioned, Michael, still functioning. What we're looking more to do is have better relationships with the schools so that we can build a more diverse program in Wayne County. But youth are always welcome to join various programs that we have through Central Indiana as well.
So Tara, let's stick with that for just a minute and ask if, say an industry or employer, when we have a couple of different industries that are, and we have employers that are really focused on community development, if they're interested in developing an exploring type program, what types of industries or vocations does exploring like to make a connection with to develop a program for youth?
Of course, it's a really good question. We do surveys for youth every year. At each spring, we do surveys in the school system. This year, we have about 17,000 youth within Central Indiana that are doing surveys. Then we like to focus on our top 20 within that to start new programs. We have programs that happen every year, right? The Wayne County program has been multiple years. Eli Lilly Science Program has been around 30 plus years. So programs can definitely develop that, and we always take new programs as well. In regards to our survey, though, the top career for youth that we found interest for the past 4 years has been nursing. And then within those kind of top 10, you'll find surgeon, zoologist or marine biology, sports management, and medicine. We're starting to see more so, and we see this on the national compiles data from surveys around the nation. And they've been seeing for past years a lot of like arts and photography and different things like that. We're starting to see those more so locally as well. So just looking at how we can partner, I would say no industry is off limits. We're looking at exploring kind of in depth this year and seeing how can we offer more trades programs? How can we diversify some of these medical programs to not only offer hospitals, but is there a senior community or different things like that? So I would say the biggest thing is just connect with me or Jim and be able to work through what that could look like for their business or organization.
So if a business owner or business manager, and I'm thinking of some of our larger employers in town without naming you by name, you know who you are. Thanks for paying attention. If you're interested in starting an exploring post, they could contact you, and we could get that contact information up here. We've kind of neglected that a little bit, but we have a couple of phone numbers or email addresses that you could contact Tara in particular, or Jim, or even Everett if you have some questions about getting a unit going here in the area. You mentioned healthcare was really big. We do have a great teaching and nursing program here in Wayne County that I'd like to promote that might be a way to make a connection. I know there was some talk about that in the past. And I think of the strong arts programs and arts history that we have here in Wayne County. I mean, we're known for being the birthplace of recorded jazz and among other arts activities here in the area. So there's a wide variety, a wide range of opportunities that we could get connected there. We're coming down to the end of our program, and I want to thank you guys for your input about scouting in the area. One thing that I would say is there have been some interest in adult leadership and what's required for adult leadership, or for getting if a an agency like one of the service agencies wanted to support scouting, what kind of requirements are they going to have as far as getting adult leadership involved with scouting? And that's open to any of you, Everett or Jim in particular. What do people need to do to get started with the scouting unit?
All right, so I'll jump in on that and you guys can chime in, but it's the requirements to be an adult leader in any of our programs is they have to be 21 years of age or older, and they have to complete a full adult application. And and then we screen all of our adult leaders, have to be able to, pass a nationwide background check. And then also they're required before they can intermingle with our kids is they're required to take youth protection. And it's just it's a 2-hour course, and where we set up the parameters and guidelines for interacting with our young people, and so that they're very well, vested and committed to providing a safe environment for all of our kids. After that, kind of becomes position descriptive. If they want to be on the committee, or that's one thing, and they got little job descriptions and tells a little bit about the job. But the things that I mentioned are the front running things they need to do.
So if a person is interested, then there are specific training that is available for how to interact as an adult leader. And then here's a loaded question for you, and you got 32 seconds to answer. Is there any adult training available for leadership development for adults in scouting?
Yeah, I'll take it to that. We have all kinds of opportunities for adults as well. One that's with the thought of that question pops out is Wood Badge. And that's a national sought after training that not just for scouting, but also for business leaders, because the leadership that's taught in Wood Badge is really just sought after. And it makes a huge impact on the scouting movement and for businesses as well.
All right, and with that, we are at the end of our program. Everett Young is the district manager for the Eastern Region and Crossroads Council. Jim Boksa, the district director for Bear Creek, and Darice, senior exploring executive for Crossroads. Thank you all for joining us today to talk about scouting and its impact in Wayne County, and much wishes for best success going forward.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you so much.